So first of all, I just want to say, as always, a big thank you to everybody coming out. Some things that I want to keep in mind, right? This is a marathon, not a race. We have up until December 11th to turn these bad boys in, right? So I think the best thing is to make sure that we double check the work. We make sure that we're kind of going over it over and over again before we turn it in. If you turn it in too early, that just causes some hardships. We have to go back and redo some things, right? Now, and also on that note, I just want to make sure we are not solving the world's issues here. We are not trying to, solve world hunger. No dolphins are going to die if we make any mistakes here, right? We are simply just trying to re-register all the youth and adults in our units. So piece of cake, right? Easy, 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 easy. So may the odds be ever in your favor. So some housekeeping, as I mentioned earlier, right? I'm not the expert, I'm just the professional. Okay, so I hope to have all the answers if we have some questions tonight. I've done this a few times, right? But never actually live in front of a studio audience. So we're just gonna see how that goes. And then of course we are working on this as a team. So if you know that there's a better way to go about doing this, please by any means necessary, save me from myself. If you got a question, let's just wait until the end of the section and then ask it. It's possible that I'm either going to cover it in that section or it's going to come up by some means. I'm just asking that hopefully we can get through that. And then if we're missing something, please, 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 please ask your question. And then of course too, you may do your recharter in a different order. Maybe you've practiced this way or that way. I'm trying to stay focused on one topic at a time, and we'll wrap all that up in a bow, and then we'll move on. Unless, of course, I say we'll touch on that topic later, but who's to say, right? We're going to get through this. So, step one. I hope everybody has their stuff with them. Their packets is what I mean by stuff. Right? So I've got a packet. Oh, you can't see it, but I have a packet. I have a packet. That's funny. Okay, anyway, let's open that bad boy up, okay? So if we're gonna open up the packet, the papers are in order. They should all be in the same order. So you're opening up the first one. It's gonna be this blue piece of paper. It's the unit Recharter process, right? So this one is gonna have access code. And then that's a really important piece of paper because we're gonna use that to log into the system later. So this blue piece of paper, right? That's the first one on top. And then we're just going through the packet right now as a group. So the second one is going to be your your pack charter renewal. So this is the roster. We're going to refer to this often as the roster, right? So this has all the names of the people that were that are in your pack, troop, or crew. And this was printed off back in October, right? So it's possible that you submitted some youth to us between then and now. So you may not have some youth on your roster. That's okay. Once again, that is okay. We're going to solve that issue. So the next one up, you're going to have the 2021 charter renewal turn-in checklist. This one's a beaut. It's extremely wordy, but this is going to help you figure out every single thing that you need to turn into us at the end of this process, right? Then you're going to have this gray piece of paper. It's the FAQ sheet. So the gray has got the FAQs. This one kind of makes the process look a little daunting, like there's way too much information on here, in which case that's true. There's a lot of info. Don't worry about it. We may not even need to touch that sheet of paper. The one after that, the annual unit charter agreement. I have this in a digital form. I believe it's also on the website. So for instance, this one, we are going to need wet signatures on this, meaning it needs to actually be signed by your chartered org rep. Your chartered organization representative, if you do not know who they are, you can email me and I'll let you know. It's typically the person who works at the church or the PTA or the elementary school or the dentist office that your pack trooper crew is chartered with. So we need them to actually physically sign this. It's important because it's kind of like a contract. It acknowledges their responsibilities and their role. And it also allows for us to continue our program in the safest way possible. So after that bad boy, you're gonna have a grid-looking sheet. If you're on a pack trooper crew, it's gonna be a different color. So the packs are blue, the troops are red. I believe the venture crews are green. This is not a scorecard. I want to say that again. It's not a scorecard. It looks like it. It really looks like we're grading you, but we're not, right? This is to help you see where your pack, troop, or crew sits, right? Could you use a little bit more help in one category, or are you really excelling in another category? So this is a great way for us to see how did 2020 go, which we all know is not the best, but it could also help you figure out how is 2021 going to look. So that's exciting. Yeah. So the next one is the Unit Recharter Supplement. This is a yellow piece of paper. This one we sent out digitally. So we already sent out one of these. It was a Google form, and we sent it out to the pack and the troop masters and the crew leaders, and we also sent it to the committee chairs. So check with them if they've already done this. We've already gotten a pretty good response. If you haven't done it, you can fill this one out by hand, or you can also fill it up with the digital version. Okay, so the next 3 pieces of paper are the background disclosure forms. This is California law that we have to provide these. You can't staple them, and you have to provide all 3 of them when you're doing it. If you already have all of your adults in, you do not need to sign these. So last year we required everybody had to sign these, and it was a wonderful, beautiful process that was really difficult. You do not need to do that again this year. So as long as you've got no new adults, you don't need to worry about that. Next up, you're going to have one page that has all of our Twin Valley logos all over it. So it says, make sure you aren't charged for duplicates. This is going to be extremely important later, right? This is only going to be used for when you're writing your check. So this is money involved here, right? What it means by duplicates is in the Boy Scouts of America, you have the wonderful opportunity to belong in a pack, in a troop, and a crew, all for the price of one, right? So you only have to pay one membership to belong in all 3 of them. What unfortunately the national organization is unable to do, the system is not able to recognize if you have already paid your membership in a pack, troop, or the troop or crew, right? So if you are the committee chair of a troop, right, and you have, actually here, how would I do this? I know of a very great example, Keith Lamb, right? You are a committee chair for pack 943, and you are an ASM for troop 941. So you would want to look up the directions on this sheet of paper to figure out where your primary registration is. Your primary is where you have paid, PP, primary paid, right? So I think most likely you're the primary in pack 943, which means you should not pay any money to troop 941. And that's it, right? So that's also, you want to make sure you don't get double dinged for the council program fee. So you don't want to pay twice for your annual membership, and you don't want to pay twice for your council program fee. We're going to touch on that again later. Okay. So the second half of that, where it says take me to your leader, can't see it. It says take me to your leader at the bottom half of that page. That's the digital version that we were talking about of that yellow piece of paper, that unit charter supplement, right? So that you can actually scan that QR code with your phone and you can knock it out right there. So you don't need me to send you that information. And then after that, we've given you some youth applications and an adult application, all right there too. So if you don't need to use them, great. But we've also given you them in case you do need to use them, and we'll go over that if you do need to use them. So far, I think we're rocking and rolling here. Step 2, this one is going to help you out now. It's also going to help you out later. You want to check for the youth protection training on my.scouting.org. This is, if you're the committee chair or if you're the Cub Master or the Scout Master, you can actually check for your whole unit all in once. If you are not the committee chair or the Cub Master or Scout Master, you can ask them to do this. I sent an email out with directions on how to do it, but I'm also just going to walk you through the steps right now. my.scouting.org. I'm going to hit up in this left hand on this menu. Now mine's going to look a little different because I have different access than everybody else. So you're going to want to scroll down. You should have your pack or your troop or your crew number right there. You should be able to. So you want to click on that bad boy. and you want to find where it says organization manager. Actually, no, I don't think that's it. I think it's training manager. Let's see. So then you're going to pull up this page. You're going to have YPT there. So I'm going to select my organization level. Let's do PAC 901. And then bing, bing, boom. So here we have PAC 901, and then I've got my YPT here too, right? So then I'm going to hit this lovely button down here, report. And then now I have a Excel roster sheet of who has and hasn't completed their YPT. So I can export that to a CSV. Open her up. Great, so here's my Excel sheet. So we can see the Y01, Jonah Paulus, for instance, her YPT expires in November 25th of 2020. So that is not current. Well, it's current currently, right? But when we go to Recharter, it's gonna be not current, right? So in previous years, we've required that you must have youth protection training that is at least 2 years out. So we were asking people to take YPT every year. That is not the case anymore because national will not allow us. So all you need is a youth protection training that is after December 31st, 2020, right? So you just need a YPT that is going to expire anytime after this December, and you're in the clear. If you do try to take your YPT within the 2 years that it is current, you will not receive a new certificate. So just so you know, so you don't go through the 1.5-hour training, right? Wait until your 2 years is up and then retake youth protection training, right? So the reason I say you want to do this step first is because, as you all probably know, it takes a long time to get people to take their youth protection training. So it is most important that you get them on that now, so that way when we turn in those packets in December, they have anywhere between now and then to take the YPT. Yeah, I saw.
So excuse me 1 sec. Do you mind if I ask a question?
Of course, and I see Elaine's question too. So we'll do whoever is talking, and then we'll hit Elaine's question.
Sorry, this is Peter.
Hey, Peter.
I was just going to ask, if your YPT expires in December, does that mean you have to wait until the end of December to take it?
Good question. So I think there's a 2-month grace period. It's not in writing anywhere, so I can't confirm this. So if your YPT expires this December, I think you can take it this November and you'll be able to get a new certificate.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And Elaine pointed out something that's actually rather important. What she says is the YPT report only displays adults that are registered from last year's Recharter. Meaning if you've signed up any new adults recently, it's not going to show their YPT. But the good news is, if you signed them up within the last year, their YPT is good for 2 years, right? So they're still okay, assuming, right? They could have, because you could have also, been in a pack and then they joined the troop later, so then there's that YPT. But most likely, they should be in the clear. And I think Mr. Allison also put that too. You can have them go in and print out a certificate. So it just involves a little bit more chasing of your ducks. You got to get more ducks in a row. But the individual can go in and print out their own certificate and provide that to you as well. Okie dokie. So let's see. Let's get back to that PowerPoint. Isn't this fun? I'm having so much fun. Okay. Oh, we get to start over. Step 1, step 2. Great. We're on to step 3. We're rocking and rolling. Okay, so next, we're going to go back to our packet. You're going to locate that unit Recharter Process 2021. It's the blue page, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to log into the system right now, and we're going to we're going to do a Recharter. So let's escape at that point. So I tried this forever and a day on Google Chrome, and I couldn't log into the system. So I eventually had to open up an Internet Explorer browser. I know, I'm sorry, but I didn't choose it. I believe it should also work on Safari, but I'm going to open up Internet Explorer just in case. And yes, I need to stop sharing my screen so I can start sharing my internet. So right here, you're going to have the login screen. It's important that you register as a first-time user. Even if you've done this before, you need to register as a first-time user. I don't need to explain it. That's just it, right? That's the way the system works. So register as your first-time user. I believe I've already registered, so you may not be seeing this page second. It may be coming up as another page, but because I've already registered, I've already been through this. So we're going to put in the access code, which is on the sticker on your piece of paper, right? How can I get this? There it is. Your access code is on that sticker in the middle down there. I'm going to type this bad boy in. I usually sweat under pressure when a lot of people are watching me do something at the same time. So hopefully I get it right the first time. So that's the access code. My unit type is my pack, right? You could also be a troop, crew, ship, or post, but I'm a pack. I'm going to be 901. I'm going to say I'm not a robot, as far as I know. And I'm going to hit all the crosswalks. Wow, the pressure's on today. Crosswalk, crosswalk, crosswalk. There. Oh, there's another one. Boy, 2020, we all get to watch this together. That's great circumstances. Okay, great. There's no more crosswalks. Because I've already logged in, I get to come back as a returner, right? So this is, don't be fooled. Everybody needs to hit the first time user register. I'm gonna hit the login button. And I'm gonna type in my password here. So I highly suggest, if you're gonna come back to this, writing that password down. Okay, we get to do this over again. This is so exciting. Mountains and hills. Okay, great, not a robot. Awesome, I love hearing that. Okay, we've made it. All right, so now we're in the system. So it will give you step-by-step directions on the page itself. And you also are going to have step-by-step directions on the back of the blue sheet. So the blue sheet's going to be your kind of saving grace for the rest of this, for the remainder of this process. So let's just hit stage one, load your roster, load your unit information from the latest recorded information from the council, or you may choose to upload your roster. So let's see. Maybe if I hit this blue begin button, that's been hiding. Okay, so once you have chosen one of the above options, you cannot choose the other. Wow, that's insane. Okay, so you want to load council information, right? This is the best option you want to do. So hit that first guy. To update your roster, you must perform the following steps. Update your charter organization information, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's hit the next button. If it will let me. Ooh, there it is. Okay, great. So step one, update the charter information. So this could be, depending on who your charter rep is, it could be the actual physical building, it could be the church, or it could be the address of your chartered org rep. Most likely, this is just going to stay as it is. So we're just going to hit next step. There's no need to change it really. So step 2 of 6, select remembers for renewal. So this is going to start off with just your adults. You're going to look through the list and you're going to say, which of these adults are not returning this year? Who is not going to return? So how do I know that? You do it off of memory, right? Which I think is always fun. But I also have a list from the, oops, here we go. From the unit of who they have determined who is and who is not going to be coming back, right? So I'm going to look at that list really quickly, and I'm going to say, okay, who do we have here? You know, this adult looks correct, that adult looks also correct. This adult I need to remove. So I'm back here at this one, and I know I need to remove Clayton Carroll. He's no longer in PAC 901, so I'm going to take him off, right? I'm also going to look through my adult partner. So Rashmi Gupta, I know he's also not going to be on there anymore. Kevin Kyoy. Kevin, you're on this call, aren't you?
Yes. Get rid of Baron back at the top.
I think that's it.
Okay.
The good news is it's a real easy fix if it's not, right? So as we're going to scroll down, okay, so we unchecked all the boxes of the adults that are not going to continue on, right? So we did that. Easy cake. We're going to go down. Great. So it's a good thing that we're taking these off because we are saving people money, right? We do not want to charge the PAC more money than we need to. So we want to make sure that we're removing all the people that we need. So I'm going to hit next. So now what we did is we are confirming what we just did. So it's a good opportunity to go back through the list again and say, okay, these are all the people. Yeah, right. Okay, yes. You're going to come back through all the way down. You're going to say, great, wunderbar, that is, right? So we're going to hit next step. Now, the great news is, let's just say that you accidentally messed up and there was one person that is needed coming back, or there's somebody that needs to be removed. That is okay. We can do that on paper later, no problem, right? So let's move on to step 3, yeah? Step 3, promote members. If you want to have the option to promote. So promote could just mean any type of title change. So promote, it doesn't mean they're getting a higher job. It could mean they're just getting a different job. So if you want to do it, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. You want to hit the promote button, not the next step button, right? So now it's telling us to hit so this is if you need to bump up a kid to any type, so such as an 18-year-old youth to an assistant scoutmaster, right? So that's what this is going on here. So we do not need to do that. So let's just check it out though. No unit members found from promotion. Okay, so the system physically won't let me do it, in which case, great, because it's smarter than me. So we're gonna hit that next step. So that is gonna be helpful for your troops. So if you have any youth who are 17 to turn 18 and they want to stay in the troop, maybe they are not leaving distance-wise to go to college, they aren't leaving just yet for any activity. If they want to stick around as being an assistant scoutmaster or even a committee member, that's a good opportunity to use that promote button. That is different from Eagle candidates who are getting extensions due to COVID. That is different. So instead, that is a UP, that stands for unit participant. That's what you would put on the application, and we need a physical application for that, right? So let's hit the next step. So step 4 of 6, adding any new members. Kevin, I believe we do not need to add any new adults, but we're gonna just walk through this step so that way everybody can see it. So we're gonna hit new adult, person ID. I wouldn't mess around with that. I wouldn't do that because most likely you just have to look it up and that's just gonna be a real pain for you. So just don't do it. So it's a pretty simple process. You wanna put the first middle name, your last name, primary position in the unit. This one is important because you wanna make sure that you're giving them the right one and not something else. So right here, let's just, we could do assistant cup master, why not, right? I wouldn't mess around with these other positions only because I've never seen that before. So let's see, let's just do myself. Lindberg, assistant cup master. Social security number is required and will be entered by your counsel from the adult application. So you do not need to put that in. So this is helpful. You already need to have the application from the adult in order to put this in, right? So for any new youth or any new adult that you did not see on the roster previously, you need to have an application filled out by them because you are inputting them into the system here, right? You also need to give that application to me at the end when you hand in the packet. So if you have somebody that is not listed on the roster, we need an application for them, a physical one, and it needs to be turned in with the packet, right? So let's do 1001 Davis Street, because that's my second home. San Leandro. Oh, 577. State first, I guess, California. Telephone. Wow, I forgot the office phone number. It's been a while. 0425. Date of birth. Y'all can send me some birthday cards if you'd like. June 17th, 1994. Now, some of this stuff is, you don't need to get into the nitty gritty, so you don't need to get into some of this stuff. Driver's license number, it should already be on that application. I hope it lets me go through. Choose. There's last name. That's specific. I don't think you need that either. I don't know what this is, so let's just put in a fake one and see what happens. Wow, great. Add adult business data from Matt Lindberg. So this is also not needed. You don't need to put all this information in because most likely parents don't put it into the applications. Also, if it's already on the application, don't worry about filling it in here. So you do not need to put all that stuff in. The thing that is important though, Boys Life. So whether or not they need that magazine or want the magazine, it's up to you. The magazines are not mandatory. They're not required. If you do have a 100% Boys Life magazine, though, you get a cute little ribbon and you get to put it on top of your flag. Isn't that cool? I will not do Boys Life because it's going to charge you, Kevin. I don't want to do that. Business email. Let's do this bad boy. Wow. Okay. So this is fun. So now I got updated, right? So we put in a new adult. Piece of cake, right? Easy peasy. So let's hit next. So this is add a new for a youth. We're not going to go through the process because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just hit all the same buttons again and piece of cake. And remember, you need to turn in the application with the packet. I need that application 100%. So now we're going to update our member data. So this is once again pretty much going through for the final time and saying like, okay, are these all the correct people? And we're back in business. So this is once again confirming the roster for the millionth time. You're gonna hit that next step. Update member position. So this one's fun. So this one is, let's just say that you wanted to swap out some people. You do not need to give me an application for a change of position. So if I wanted to change Robert Fortner to a assistant scoutmaster or assistant cubmaster, I could do that right here. And it's just an easy click of a button and swapping those out. So you do not need to turn in an application with a change of position. Somebody asked, can you turn in the application instead of updating the roster here? You could, if you wanted to, yeah, that is an option. But I do not need to do that, so I will not. So we're going to hit, oh, right, great. So this is awesome. So this is showing us what's going on over here. So I need to fix these errors. It says new member coordinator, pack trainer, Tiger adult. So more questions. Does every Lion and Tiger adult partner need to be registered or just one per den? So technically they're quote unquote registered, right? But they are not actually turning in an application. Lion and Tiger adult partners, when they sign the youth application, they put their date of birth and their address in the bottom and they're signing it. So that's them turning in the youth application and it doubles as them registering, saying that they are a over 21-year-old adult and turning that in. So you do not need to have your Lion or Tiger partners fill out a separate adult application. Can a committee chair and a pack trainer be the same person? Dear God, I hope so. Let's try it out. So let's see. We're going to go committee chair.
You would not have that, Matt.
Sorry, say it again.
You would not have that typically. You don't want your committee chair to be overburdened. This particular problem can be solved just by having another committee member.
Great. And I agree with Mr. Allison too. We really don't want to make sure that we're not kind of overburdening. So I've met Lewis a few times. I think he's a cool dude. I'm sure he wouldn't mind of us just giving him a second opportunity. But see how easy that is, folks, right? You just see if there's any red right here. And I also didn't have a next stage button. So it wasn't allowing me to hit that next stage, right? So you have to go over and see if there's any errors and you have to fix the errors live as you go. So we're going to hit the next stage. So we're going to check the roster, right? So this is, once again, giving you another opportunity to check that roster. So it's giving us some errors here. This phone does not have youth protection training. So that's why I asked us earlier, because we want to see who has YPT.
Everybody how it ends.
You can, well, so I mean, I could also just say we're almost at the very end, right? So the last two steps over here is the summary and the submit roster. So you were literally just going to go through the buttons and click through everything as it is, as it needs to. So it's pretty self-explanatory.
No, 11 hours.
I would rather not purposefully screw up this recharter for Kevin's purposes, because then Kevin,
Let's say it's 7:45. Let's say 7:45, 8:45, 9:45.
Thanks, Dave. So let's abandon ship here, I guess. And you all will just, like I said, as you've been seeing me go through this process, it's pretty easy. So you can do all that. I think the biggest thing I want to end on, I should say, how do I escape this? Why am I still not?
It's actually pretty similar to last year. There's not many changes.
Right. There's not much changes other than it's forcing us to have certain positions, and you have to have the YPT updated before you get started.
Okay.
So,
All right, so can I run through a few questions for you, or are you?
let me finish the last. That's quite all right. Let me finish the last section, and then we'll open the floor up to questions, because I know there's probably got to be a lot of what ifs. So thanks everybody for your patience. I appreciate it. So keeping the whole deck of papers in order here. After your roster, there's that white sheet that says 2021 charter renewal turn-in checklist, right? This guy. This one is going to be your absolute saving grace, because it's going to tell you literally every single thing that you need to turn in and everything that needs to be signed, right? Do you say that all lion and need to have YPT now? No, lion and tiger adults do not need to have their youth protection training. They do not. Mm-hmm. And if I'm wrong, we'll find out soon. So if you find out before me, Keith, let me know, because we got to update the whole team. But we haven't required lion or adult partners to have YPT in years past. So the only reason is if they were to pull a sneaky one on me. So this list, right? I physically go through every single one and look at what it is, the ones that you need to turn in with the packet. If you didn't need to add any adult or any youth applications, it's pretty simple, because all you need is the annual unit charter agreement, which we provided you. So this is the thing that your chartered org rep signs. And then also the chartered org rep has their supervisor sign this. So that's called the institutional head or the executive officer, the IH or the EO. So it's typically, if you are chartered with a church, you have like the youth minister or some volunteer at the church is your chartered organization representative. And then the pastor, the father, the head priest, they are the ones that are going to sign that other line there. So 2 signatures from the chartered organization are going to come on here. And then I'm the third one. I'm the BSA local counsel. That's me. So you got to turn in that bad boy. You're going to turn off, or you're going to turn in the brand new roster. You're going to get this brand new roster at the end of the recharter. So you're going to print off that roster, and it should look pretty identical to this one. So you're going to print off that roster, you're going to turn in that guy. And then you're going to also give me any of those applications that we need. And I also need the JTE, the Journey to Excellence. That's the color-coded grid. That one's going to be very important to turn in because it's just going to let us know where you're sitting, how you're doing, and the yellow piece of paper. Or if you haven't already digitally done it, that one. So the yellow piece of paper or the digital one. And that is the easiest recharter you could ever do. Am I right? Okay, Dr. John, question.
Unmuted. Okay, so yeah, you forgot the one thing you did forget is in the packet we give you. You want the checks also, or the check.
Great. Mm-hmm. Do not pay online. Absolutely, do not pay by credit card or by e-check. Do not do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? So the CPF, the council program fee, will be tabulated for you on that. I want to see actually if.
Well, before we go to that, Matt, so the check, SFBA, a lot of people made it out to SFBAC already. You said you would accept that till the end of December. New checks should be GGAC.
Correct. Yeah. So we need to have the checks be in GGAC. If you happen to have SFBAC checks, that's okay. That's going to run out at the end of December. So if you plan on giving me an SFBAC check, even more of an incentive to get it into me before the end of recharter season.
Fantastic. Okay. So, and will the program also tabulate the $25 new member fee in addition to the council fee? Or that could be added later?
Yeah. So if you are a brand new youth member, there is an additional $25 new member fee, and that will be calculated in the actual calculation process. It'll give you the whole breakdown later.
Got it.
And I see Shai's going to ask for the fees that are correct. Let me actually bring up a Excel spreadsheet so you all can see it, and then you can even take a screenshot of that if you wanted.
So Matt, you're saying that we should not pay online with credit card or e-check. Is there a way that we can Zelle or PayPal the council?
As of right,
I have to bring a real check.
As of right now, no. We are looking into setting up a business account via PayPal, but there are fees accounted with that. So if you wanted to pay PayPal, you have to pay an additional fee to cover that cost. Check is best because you're physically handing in an actual packet too. So you're going to give us an item one way or the other. So yeah. So this is the Excel spreadsheet. It's just giving a breakdown of last year's to this year. So, you know, these numbers are last year's numbers. The numbers on the bottoms are the ones you want to be looking for. So the national membership fee is $66, which just happens to match the CPF, which is also $66. I'm sorry. And then, of course, if they want Boys Life magazine, it's $12 too. So it's going to be $144 for youth and then $96 for adults there. And then once again, this is imperative, right? You want to make sure if you are registered in 2 units that you are not being dipped. And the instructions on how to figure that out are on the sheet in your packet. You as the individual have to look it up. So I can only look up my personal double dip, right? So I cannot look up somebody else's. I also, as the professional scouter, can't look up somebody else's either. I don't know why the system won't let me do it. So you need to make sure that it is every single person looking up whether or not they are multiple registered somewhere else.
And again, Matt, that $25 new member fee will be painlessly added. It'll show up on the roster. I mean,
correct.
Got it. Okay. One of the things that's critically important. So sometimes you don't do this all in one sitting. So this form allows you, once you pick your password and you write it down, this thing allows you to get back online to do it, come back another day.
Correct. Yeah, because I signed in yesterday and then I came back again today. So when you sign in for the second time, that's when you do as a non-new registrant.
No, understood. But sometimes there's a bug in these things. It won't let you go back. We had that happen once a few years ago. And it was painful, very painful.
I'm sorry to hear, and I wouldn't doubt it.
That's okay. No, things have changed. Okay, so the final packet, then we put it back in the envelope, clip it together with the checks or checks. And how do we get it to you? Yeah. Also, then, Matt, if you want, I could offer the use of the church. We have a lot of real estate there. We have a gazebo. If you want to use the church to collect them, and it's outside and it's nicely socially distanced. So if you want to use the church, that's fine.
That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, that church is located in Livermore too. So we would probably do a location in Livermore, and maybe we'll probably do a location in Dublin, Pleasanton, something rather. So we could kind of hit all the areas.
Just let me know so I can notify the church.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll have you talk to the church. Inside joke, my dad works at that church, so everybody's in on the joke now. Can I stuff this and send it to you? And can I mail the papers to you in a large envelope? Yes, Fawn, you can, right? So in case you are out of town and you can't give it to somebody else to give it to us to review, please, by all means, mail that boy the YLTC. We still own it.
When we hand you the packet, are you able to give us a receipt for the money at that point, for the checks?
I could give you a receipt booklet, but so I could, bring a booklet and write it down and give it to you, but it's not going to be like official because we haven't processed the check.
Okay.
So, but what I can do is I can scan a receipt and email it to you, so you have it eventually.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Matt, I have a
Hi,
question.
Leslie.
Hello. Good to see you. Matt, I was just wondering, I wanted to make sure I heard correctly on the adult applications. Did you say that if you have a position change, an adult that moves from, say, committee member to assistant scoutmaster, you do not need an application?
Excellent question. And I'm glad we get to clarify that. So that is only during recharter process. It's the loophole. It's the one loophole that you don't need to have it. So any other month of the year, you need to have an application if you're going to do a change of position. But during recharter, you do not need to turn in an application.
Okay, so that's changed.
Maybe. I possibly just didn't tell you when you handed it in because I didn't want to hurt your feelings because you'd already gone through all the work.
Okay, and then our institution head has changed. So what do I need to do for that? Because it's a new priest at the church, and the old priest's name will come up in the system when I go through this. So
yeah, it should just be the same process of just you want to remove that person. So you want to remove the adult, and then you're going to add that adult through the same processes that I showed you earlier. So you want to remove the old one, add the new one. This is another very small tidbit that is very specific. Institutional heads do not need an application. They don't. Chartered org reps need an application, but institutional heads don't. So I just need the email address and the first and last name of your new pastor.
okay. And I have another question about those boys that made Eagle and then turned 18. Is there a certain cutoff? Like last year, the boys that were turning 18 by the end of the year, we need to keep their file active in the system for when Eagle comes through national. That needs to be kept alive, so to speak. We couldn't drop them off. What is the cutoff for that? Because I have 2 applications. I'm trying to figure out, we had quite a few Eagles this year. Is there like a certain date that of their birth date, of their turning 18, that I need to be aware of?
That's a good question. Have they already received their Eagle? They've already gone through the board of review?
They have. The 2 boys I have in mind actually received their Eagle, or they're noted in the system September 14th, and the other one is October 1st. But they turned 18 in June and July. So I have apps for them. I'm assuming
as long, and Mr. Allison, I'd love for you to confirm this one for me. As long as they have already been admitted, they've already received their Eagle, and that they have put it in the internet advancement, it's been marked that they have received it, then I believe you do not need to keep them on the roster.
If you've received the Eagle, if the Scoutmaster has received the Eagle kits, at that point, it's all done. If, let's say a boy, let me fix my language. Let's say a youth has just completed their Eagle board, I don't know, November 5th. It's taking anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks to process it national. And since we're close enough to the end of the year, I'd probably re-register that youth as a unit college reserve.
Excellent.
That's I'm not sure what the fees on that. I think they're relatively low for college reserve.
Or are they lower? Oh, okay.
I think.
That.
No. Well, I mean, so are they no longer a youth participant and are they an adult participant instead? So yes, if they're over the age of 18, right, they'd be charged as an adult and not a youth. So it would be $42 instead of $66.
Right. And
So it's still,
calculate that.
it's still 42 though. It wouldn't be lower it wouldn't be unit council reserve code. It would be UP, right? UP, unit participant.
Either would work. I would advise to do unit participant.
I think that's what I have on the apps.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Leslie.
One other thing. Now, are there certain positions where you should have an app? Like, what about a service project coordinator? Is that someone I should have an app from and recharter them as a committee member?
It's great to have more committee members because by the bylaws, they are voting members of the committee. So if you want them to be registered in your PAC, to have a say in the committee, then yes, you should charter them. And that being said too, right, if the fees are an issue, there's certain members that don't need applications. Yes. Because technically you only need 2 committee members, a unit leader, and then the committee chair. And then as we learned today at Scout level, right, you also need a new member coordinator and a PAC trainer. So that's the bare minimum you need in order to pass through the recharter.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were doing the right thing. This person was gracious enough to volunteer, but didn't necessarily say they wanted to be a committee member. So,
well, there's just no specific position for like for what you suggested, right? It's not an active position. So we would register them as a committee member, but then on your paper, you would have them do whatever position you wanted. Now, it's also a great opportunity to make sure that that adult is youth protection trained and registered, because that's going to help your troop out later if you need another adult in a Zoom meeting, if you need another adult to travel in a car. So it is a good opportunity to register as many adults as you can.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
And I got 2 questions, one from, sorry, Leslie, I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you done?
I'm done. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, so from Deepak, is there any minimum age requirement for an ASM? To be a registered leader, to hold a leadership position in the troop, you do need to be 21. Actually, no, Mr. Allison, you can be 18 and be an assistant scoutmaster.
Yes, you can be 18, but the charter organization may put other restrictions on that. They may require you to be 21 or 25, depending on, I haven't seen it, but a charter partner could do that.
And the chartered org rep is the one that signs off on all the adult applications. I highly doubt that they would do it. So yeah, Deepak, totally okay for your Eagle Scout to sign up as an ASM. Fawn, what about the youth that applied for the Eagle extension? I'm thinking of some of the high school girls in ING that will turn 18 years of age. So they have applied for that Eagle extension. They should have already turned in an adult application with the UP, unit participant, in the section where they are signing up for a position. So that should already be either in our office or on hand with you. If you have the carbon copy, I would suggest turning it in. But we already most likely have it in the office, so they should not need an additional one. But I'm gonna write that question down just in case, because I'm pretty interested about that one.
And Matt, 18-year-olds need a YPT cert.
Oh yeah, and of course, right, they're gonna need a youth protection training. Because you're over the age of 18, you're an adult.
So Matt, just to be clear on the YPT thing. So if all of our adults took YPT last year, they don't have to take it this year for 2 years.
Correct, yeah, because it's good for 2 years.
Okay.
Looks like we still got the large chunk here. So everyone, fun technical difficulty. I wish we had been able to get through the process, but I firmly believe that all of you will be able to do the remainder of the process. You just got to get to the end. You got to make sure everybody has YPT and everybody's in a position. Print out the roster, get the signatures, put it all in a packet. We will give you target dates of the weekends, of the Saturdays that we'll be able to hang around in some parks. And that way you can schedule and turn them all in, and we can get that taken care of. The absolute last day that we can receive these packets is December 11th. December 11th. I'd love it if we could do it before Thanksgiving. That'd be a great treat for me. But December 11th is the absolute last day I can take these packets. Okay? So if there's no more questions, or if there are no more questions, feel free to stick around. But I see you got feel free to stick around, or you can leave if you'd like. So I just want to say thanks again for coming out, everybody. And we'll see y'all soon.